Out of every prophet, out of every word in the scripture and everywhere, none is more important than Yeshua himself. So we need to know what he said. Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. We are continuing with another episode of the Yeshua Said Series. We are up to part 27, and we're going to be reading starting in Matthew 10. So 10:1 of Matthew is where we'll start. I'm not sure where we're going to finish, but if you want to see any of the previous episodes, you could just go to the website, TorahLifeMinistries.org, or go to the YouTube page as well. So we're going to continue here with episode 27. But before we do that, let's go back to the last episode of 26 and just look what it said at the end, where it says in 26, actually Matthew 9:37 of episode 26, it says, "Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is truly great, but the workers few. Pray then that the master of the harvest may send out workers into his harvest." So that's where we were leading off last time, and now we're going to continue here with part 27 of the Yeshua Said series. So open your scriptures to Matthew 10, and we're going to go to Matthew 10:1. So in Matthew 10:1 it says, "And having called out his 12 disciples." Now let me just stop here a second and say, this series is what Yeshua said, not my commentary on what I think he's meaning, not what the commentary is saying. It's just strictly what Yeshua Messiah said, and letting you know what that means in terms of his meaning, not mine or my ideas. And that's an important thing, because that's why I'm doing this series, folks, because out of every prophet, out of every word in the scripture and everywhere, none is more important than Yeshua himself. So we need to know what he said, and there's a reason why those letters are read in your scriptures, if you have some scriptures, to see every word he was saying. And we do need to focus on those, folks. So going back, chapter 10:1, "And having called his 12 disciples, he gave them authority over unclean spirits, so as to cast out and to heal every affliction and every disease." Now we just saw in the previous episode, we saw that Yeshua was going around the synagogues all around and healing every sickness and every disease. That's what he was doing. And it also says proclaiming the good news of the good news. That's basically what he was doing. So now, not only was he doing that, it says in 10:1, okay, he called his 12 disciples, and he gave them authority over every clean spirit, so to cast them out. And the names of the 12 apostles are these. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew. Jacob, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Philip and Bartholomew. Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector. Jacob, the son of Alphaeus, and Libanus, whose last name was Thaddeus. Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. Yeshua sent these 12 out, charging them, saying, okay, so here we go, what Yeshua said. So he said, "Do not go the way of the heathen, and do not go into a Samaritan city, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Now, this is who Yeshua was sending his 12 disciples to. That does not in any way mean that the gospel is not for the whole world and non-Israel. The gospel is for everyone who wants to be part of Israel. And when you proclaim Yeshua as Messiah, you now become part of Israel. But Yeshua is here saying, to these 12 disciples, go and go to the tribe of Israel. And now there's, there's others that were sent to go out to the world, Paul and others, but this is what it was here. But don't mistake in thinking that's all who the message was for, because it wasn't. And going on, proclaim, saying, so this is what Yeshua is still telling them, proclaim, the kingdom of heaven has drawn near. The kingdom of heaven has drawn near. So this is what he's telling them, and we're not to predict when it's coming, but as followers of Yeshua today, we have to listen to that, and this is what we need to be letting people know. You say, look, he gives us time, he gives us mercy and grace and patience, but the kingdom of heaven is near. And I don't pretend to know when it is. I don't even predict and prophesy about end times. All I say is we're one day closer to something. And but he says to proclaim the kingdom of heaven is near. Okay, he goes on to say, heal sick ones, cleanse lepers, raise dead ones, cast out demons. Freely you have received, so freely give. So that's what Yeshua himself told his disciples. He goes on, as he didn't stop, he goes on, do not accumulate gold, nor silver, nor copper in your belts. So these people got a job to do, and don't stop to be worrying about these valuable metals according to man, which are pretty much idols. So he told them, don't accumulate that, and we see here, he said in scriptures, don't store up your treasures here up on earth, but in heaven. It says, so it goes, nor a wallet for the road, nor 2 coats, nor sandals, nor staff, for the worker is worthy of his food. So, you're working for your food, and it'll be provided. In 11, and into whatever city or village you enter, search out who in it is worthy, and remain there until you go out. So, so this is Yeshua, what he's telling his 12 disciples, and this is so important because we are representatives of him today, and his message would most likely be very similar for us today. So we need to think about that. So you go into a city and you find out whoever's worthy, but entering into the house, greet it. And if the house truly is worthy, let your peace come upon it. Now Yeshua just gave them the amazing abilities to heal sicknesses and even raise people from the dead. And he's telling if it's worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it's not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever will not receive you, nor will he hear your words, having gone out of the house or the city, shake the dust off from your feet. Yeshua's telling them this, you don't got to stay and deal with that. Shake the dust off your feet. And he said, truly I say to you, so this is Matthew 10:15, it will be more tranquil to the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in judgment day than for that city. Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Folks, this is like the greatest pep talk, the greatest motivational speech ever in the history of history. And this is what Yeshua said. And the most amazing thing, and I say when we read scripture, if something jumps out at us or something is so profound, we need to remember that, because when Yeshua was being tempted by Satan, what did he give him? Scripture. Scripture was his ammo. And do you just see here in Matthew 10:16, behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Powerful, powerful. And you talk about balance, you talk about wisdom, there's a time and a situation for everything. And here's Yeshua telling them that pretty much. And but beware of man, for they will deliver you to the house of judgment, and they will scourge you in their assemblies. And also you will be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony to them and to the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, do not be anxious how or what you should say, for it is given to you in that hour what you should say. And, I have to share my own personal walk here, and I can tell you, for me, there have been situations where I have opened my mouth and things have come out of it that I don't know where it came from. And when I hear this here, what he's saying, in certain situations, sometimes we got to be quiet, and just let our lips move. And, but this is, amazing information. So this is what Yeshua is telling them. So then it goes on. We're going to continue with 20. For you are not the one speaking, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. And then he goes on, so Yeshua had, however, so he says, but brother will betray brother to death, and father his child, and children will raise up against their parents, and will put them to death. And all that's happening today. This is not about me commenting. This is what Yeshua said, but all that's happening today. And you will be hated by all on account of my name, but the one enduring the end shall be saved. We live in a world today where you even have politicians saying that this is no longer a Christian nation, and Muslim and Islam is on the rise quicker than ever, and all these other cultures and religions, and they're mixing with the seed and mingling the seed of the biblical principles, and the people that stand firm, stay focused, and stand still, it says it right here what's going to happen. You will be hated by all account of my name, but the one enduring to the end shall be saved. Enduring. And, I think about Paul when he said, about the race is hard, but, the pain is worth it, and something to that degree. 10:23. But when they prosecute you in this city, flee to another. For truly I say to you, in no way will you have finished all the cities of the house of Israel until the Son of Man will come. So, look, some people have a job to go out to everyone, and some people are called to go to specific places and specific people. And we have to follow our calling. That's what we have to do. And Yeshua was telling them what their calling was and what it was to do. And he's told us what ours is to do too in Scripture. So he goes, 24. A disciple is not above the teacher, nor a slave above his master. It is enough for the disciple to become as his teacher, and the slave as his master. If they called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more those of his household? Therefore you should not fear them, for nothing is covered which will not be uncovered, and hidden which will not be made known. What I say to you in darkness, speak in light, and what you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. That is profound. That's what Yeshua told, and that is for us today. He will speak to us in the darkness and, speak it in the light. Love it, love it. And what you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. And you should not fear the ones killing the body, but not being able to kill the soul, but rather fear him being able to destroy both the soul and the body in Gehenna. And it goes on. Are not 2 sparrows sold for an Azarian? Yet not one of them shall fall to the ground without your Father. But even the hairs of your head are numbered. They do not fear. You are better than many sparrows. Then everyone who shall confess me before man, I will confess him before my Father in heaven. Now, I did a commentary on this in another video here, and this is something, a side note. It's what Yeshua said, but basically, everyone who confesses me before man. It didn't say everyone who does Torah, because there are a lot of Christians out there who are deceived, but their heart is in the right place, and they just got to get the knowledge with it. And the enemy's trick is deception. So when it says right here again, everyone shall confess me, it goes, everyone who shall confess me before man, I will also confess before my Father. But he who denies me before man, I will also deny him before my Father. So this is the most essential thing, and that is the acceptance of Yeshua. As for those people out there that are not doing Torah, they call themselves, whether they're watered down Christian or what they might be, it says in James 4:17 to know good and not do it, to him it is sin. Well, it's still sin if you don't know it's good or bad or anything like that, and the consequences will still be there. But it's a different story for somebody who's deceived, but they have the right heart. They accept and proclaim Yeshua as Messiah, versus the ones that know what they should be doing and they just don't do it. And so you can go to my other video. I'll put a link. I'll put a link right here, and you could check that video out about this particular scripture. But going on, so it says, do not think I come to bring calm on earth. I did not come to bring calm, but a sword. I came to divide man against his father, and daughter against his mother, and a bride against her mother-in-law. And the adversaries of a man shall be like those of his own house. The one loving the father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and the one loving the son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Now, basically, folks, he's talking about people that deny him. And again, the video link I put up here, you'll see talking more about that and getting into that. And whoever does not take up his staff and follow after me is not worthy of me. The one finding his life shall lose it, and the one losing his life shall account of me, shall find it. The one receiving you receives me, and the one receiving me receives him who sent me. The one receiving a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and the one who receiving just one in the name of just one will receive just one's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to drink to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I say to you, in no way will he lose his reward. Folks, this is what Yeshua now was telling who? His 12 apostles. He was telling them, the disciples, before they went out, they needed to hear this. They needed to hear this information. And this is what he was giving them. And so he was commanding his 12 disciples what to do and where to proclaim and how to proclaim it, and giving them the warnings and the information and everything else. And that was chapter 10 of Matthew in this Yeshua Said series. This was a powerful, powerful chapter. Amazing information from Yeshua, and often misunderstood. And again, the video link I put up there, I'll also put it below the video. Check out, because that talks about that scripture that's often misunderstood, saying, well, you know, if you're not doing Torah, then that means you don't love him. Not necessarily. See that video before you put any comments about that. But that is what Yeshua said. We're going to continue next time with the next episode. But if you have any comments or questions about this episode, or if you missed any of the previous episodes, just go to my website, TorahLifeMinistries.org, and you can find all that there. All right, until then, everybody, this is Paul Neeson, your health watchman, saying have a great day and shalom, shalom. Hello, everybody. This is Paul Neeson, your health watchman. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you'd like more Bible-related videos, you can click right here now to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can get a whole bunch of great videos on these topics. If you want to check out my website, TorahLifeMinistries.org, where I have so many different videos, you can click right here, right now, and it'll take you to that website as well. Until then, everybody, have a great day and shalom, shalom.